Hello, everyone. Today is July 27th, 2023. This is the Kubernetes storage SIG meeting. So today we are going to go over our 1.28 planning spreadsheet. And then I think there is one issue here we want to go over. And we have just passed the test freeze deadline on Tuesday. So the next deadline is August 8th. That's the doc complete and reviewed deadline. So let's go over the spreadsheet. The first one is recovering from resize failure. Is Haman Nicole?
He's not. I think the code has been merged. I'm not so sure about the docs though.
Yeah, I remember Haman says he's going to update it, but I don't know if it was a PR. Okay.
Yeah, there is not even a placeholder.
Okay. I think you just need to update, right? There is already a doc in place that was added earlier. Okay, so can ping him offline on that. So, okay, let's see the next one. Provision volumes from cross namespace snapshot PVCs.
Yes, so lib populator is code is PR and merge it.
Oh, code PR merged? Oh, great.
And the reference grant is not update.
I'm sorry?
Reference grant is no update.
Oh, reference grant, okay. No.
I think it's the code PR is blocked on the reference grant. Is that right?
Is that blocked?
Lib populator.
Okay, so which code PR we're talking about? We're talking about the one in the external, the volume data source, volume populator repos, or are we talking about some other entry PR? Yeah. Sorry, and Takafumi, you want to? Can
Yeah.
which PR the code PR? Which one you said it's merged? Is this
Volume populator.
oh, populator? Okay.
Yeah.
Is it merged or is it blocked?
Oh.
Well, let's just have you share the PR on the chat, and then we can go from there.
Yeah, thanks. Okay. Yeah, please just share that over the chat. Thank you. Our next one is CSI Volume Health additional metrics. So this is still work in progress. I don't have new update on that. And change block tracking. So we had a meeting yesterday. In yesterday's data protection group, we went over the changes. So basically, the team went to SIG auth and got some recommendation from them. So the team will be updating the cap accordingly. But Ben, do you want to update on this one?
Are you talking to me, Xing?
Yeah. You-
I am struggling to get my my Bluetooth headphones to work. It just
Oh, okay.
so tell me which one it was again. Sorry, I was.
Oh, this was the change block tracking. You want to add any comments there? The one that yeah, yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, we did another review of it yesterday in the data protection working group meeting, and the big update was the developers working on it had talked to SIG auth, and they had proposed an entirely different authentication scheme, which is way better and way simpler. And I think we were all pretty happy with it. And we spent the meeting discussing just a new way to have access control based on the new authentication mechanism. And I think we basically reached agreement on that. And so it's good progress. I don't know where the CSI spec change for that stands. I think we should work on that soon. And I don't know where the KEP stands, but the overall design is looking ready to go, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, we'll continue to work the design and the prototype and update the presentation. And then if we're all good in the working group, then yeah, I think we'll go back to CSI and work on the spec.
Thanks. Okay, I see there's okay, so this is the key. Oh, so this one is merged. Okay, great. So let me add this one here. Thank you.
Xing, quick question. Is this feature the same as the cross namespace volume data source and
yes.
related attributes, which was introduced in 126? The reason I was asking was because there has been some recent activity where folks have asked for that functionality to be enabled in beta, and I just wanted to make sure if this was that feature or not. So
Yes.
Yeah, yes.
okay, great. So this would be available in beta starting 128.
No, so because it's blocked, so the reference grant, this feature is moving to the core code. Are we moving this entry, Michelle?
Yeah, so currently the feature depends on the gateway API's reference grant. And before we move this feature to beta, we want to move this reference grant object into the core Kubernetes. And so that proposal is still under discussion. So until we can move reference grant into core Kubernetes and move that to beta, this feature will be blocked from moving to beta.
Got it. Okay, thanks for that update. So do we have any expectation in terms of when that can happen? Like, do you think 129 is reasonable, or do you think it could?
I think 129 would be reasonable for an alpha of the reference grant. And then 130 would be the earliest that we could move reference grant to beta. And then be able to move this feature to beta.
Got it. And can the move to the reference grant to beta and the move of our cross namespace volume data source to beta, can those happen in the same release, or would that have to be?
I think they can move in the same release.
They can. Okay, sounds good. So tentatively, we'll just assume that around 130 or so, we expect that to happen, right?
That's the best case scenario.
Okay.
I do think maybe Takafumi, you can clarify, but I think we do need help pushing the reference grant work to both alpha and beta.
What kind of help are you looking for?
Takafumi, do you want to clarify?
I think you're on mute.
Oh, okay. I think chatting. Yeah. Just a moment, please.
Sorry, could you repeat what you said? I couldn't follow you.
So support is keep URLs. I search for and chatting the meeting chat.
Okay, so you need some support on the CAP and potentially on the implementation as well, or
Yeah.
got it. Okay, I know that there's some interest internally to have this available sooner. So I'll see what we can do from the AWS side, and I'll circle back with you folks. So.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
And next one is enable privileged containers for Windows to replace CSI proxy. So Manny, you have an update on this?
Yes, so we will likely pick this up in the near future. I know that there is some discussion that we need to kind of conclude on with Mauricio and others. So we are working on identifying, like, who can work on this and what the next steps should be from our side. But we should be able to start contributing some bandwidth to this in the near future. So.
Great, thank you. And the next one is the secure links relabeling using mount options. Yang, do you have an update for this?
So the fix has been merged to master, and it will be in Kubernetes 128, enabled by default. And I am backporting the fixes to 127, disabled by default. So I can ask people whose clusters were broken to test.
Okay, but we do not want to enable it by default in 1.27, right? Because it's risky.
Oh, maybe if they tell me that all of them are fine, then maybe. But I don't have high hopes, to be honest.
Okay. Okay, thank you. And the next one, CSI migration, remove entry GCE. So this one is done. Do we have any other? So this is done. Do we have any documentation or things like that to follow up, or are we just complete?
I don't think so.
Or just say done. You can cross this out. That's 1.20, 1.30. And then I think SAF is also, so SAF RBD and SAF FS, those are deprecated. So those are, we also have a doc for those. There's a doc. Reviewed, doc PR. Reviewed. So the code is already merged. And next one is the better default storage class. So we're moving that to GA. Yang, do you have an update?
That has been merged.
Okay, doc is merged.
And including docs.
Okay.
Yes, we
So we're all set.
probably miss the block.
The blog, I think the deadline has, I think there is a placeholder for that.
Mhm.
I don't think the deadline has come yet.
Yeah, okay.
I thought there was one, I forgot which one. Maybe I think it's the other one, the alpha one. I remember there was an issue with the doc, but this one, so there is a placeholder
Mhm.
blog PR, I think.
Yeah, it's still like Roman is busy these days.
Oh, so he has not filled in. Okay, yeah.
We will see.
Okay, yeah, we still have some time for the blog. Yeah. Next one, quality of service for volumes. So we, okay, Sunny, Sunny or Matt.
Yeah, so I didn't get time to work on it, but I see most tasks are picked up this morning.
Okay. How about
And the
the
CSI spec changes are close to being merged.
Like we addressed some comments, but like James said something else. So at this point, I don't know.
okay, so it's still being reviewed. Okay, so probably still will take some time for everything to get resolved. Okay, but at least, yeah.
Sunny, quick question. So I think there were three PRs, three issues, if I remember, and I believe that one of them was not yet, at least when we had checked last, nobody had had volunteered to pick that up. So if, I don't know what the latest is, but if that's the case, then Colin from our team can help with that particular PR. So,
Okay.
So Colin is on the, sorry, not Colin, Connor. Connor is on the call, and he can reach out and he can let you know which specific PR we are talking about.
Okay. I think it's Corner who picked up the external provisioner task this morning. Is that correct?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was on vacation the last few weeks, but I just assigned this morning, and I should be able to get the PR out probably sometime next week.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so it looks like we are making good progress here. Let's see, next one. Robust volume manager reconstruction. Yang.
Or it's the same as the Linux.
Okay, so fix is merged. Sorry, fix is merged. Okay. All right, thank you. And okay, so this is the one, the PV last phase transition time.
Yeah, that doesn't even, so code is merged, but we don't have even the docs placeholder. Okay. I am poking Roman to create one, but he's busy.
Okay, yeah, if we can, because I think because the doc ready to merge deadline is August 8th, right? So we still have a few days actually. If we can, yeah, if you can submit one, I think should still be fine. Okay. Next one is storage capacity scoring. Michelle, do you know, is there any update on this?
No, I haven't had a chance to look at this, but it is on my plate.
Okay. Thanks. And next one is the volume expansion for stateful set. So Haman is not here today. Yang, do you know if there's any update on this one? Is the stateful set?
Nope. Like, I think it has slipped from the release anyway.
Right. It's a design anyway, right? Yeah, this is a targeting design. I think it's still okay. All right. Thanks. The next one is non-graceful no shutdown. So this one code is merged, and then there's a E2 test, but then we decide not to merge that because it depends on TCP. But there is a integration test that is being reviewed. So we'll try to get that merged once the code freeze is lifted. So that's all we have here. Let's see, we have a few things. Justin, you want to go over the first item?
Yeah, sure. How should I share my screen?
Oh, okay. So let me make you a presenter. Okay.
So I just wanted to do a quick demo on a new addition to the local static provisioner repo. So it's workload recovery. So I'm just going to go into the background and the problem that we're facing, the controller that's the solution to the problem, and a demo of the behavior of the local static provisioner before and after the controller implementation. So the problem is that, as I'm sure a lot of you know, pods using local PV are always scheduled to the same node as the local PV they're using. But when nodes fail while having the local PV attached to them, the pods using local PV become stuck since the scheduler is trying to run them on the node the local PV is referencing, but obviously the node is deleted, so it can't do that. And the issue here is that the PV and the PVC aren't cleaned up when a node becomes unavailable. And so all those resources become stuck. So we had some user concern. There were some GitHub issues out for this, for recovering workloads from node deletion. And so the solution was a cleanup controller that's already been merged in the local static provisioner repo. The high level flow is that when a node is deleted, we look to see if there was a local PV attached to the node. And if there was, then we start a timer for say like a minute. The timer is user configurable. And if at the end of the timer, the node is still gone, then we delete the PVC first that was associated with the local PV to that deleted node. And then the second step is that the PV now becomes released since the PVC is deleted. And there's a second process always running that's looking for released and available local PVs attached to deleted nodes and deletes those. So typical flow would be the PVC is deleted, the PV is deleted, and the pod is able to be rescheduled to a new node. So some consideration.
But in that case, you lose all the data that was on the PV, right?
So no, we assume that so the first bullet point here is that, well, the first and second bullet point here are that we assume that local data is lost when a node is deleted. So we wait for some amount of time because there might be some edge cases in which a node triggers a deletion event but comes back immediately and data is not lost. But most likely when a node is lost for some time, the data is already gone. And the other part of this is that the controller only deletes the PV objects. We're not actually draining data. And so if you go back,
what's the user's expectation when they try to use the local PV? Is it understood at the moment that they start using it that the data might go away while the workload continues to run?
Yes. So
okay.
Yeah, so the first bullet point here is that users already know that a trade-off for using ephemeral volumes is that data loss is possible. And so we assume that users already value workload uptime over keeping data, since their workload should already be resilient to data loss.
Can you assume that the workload is actually doing replication of the data themselves?
Sorry?
Can we assume that the application is actually replicating the data? So maybe it does not matter they're running multiple replicas. So one is lost, but then.
Well, I mean, that's a possibility, but my concern is there an expectation that once the workload starts running, like its data will be there and the workload will not continue running if the data is not there? You know what I mean? Like, does anyone? Yeah, go ahead, Michelle.
So this control, like, in order for someone to use this controller, you know, there's a couple of different assumptions made about the workload and how the workload can handle data loss. But generally, this controller is designed to handle the local storage that's in cloud environments where it is inherently not a durable storage. And so if someone is using local PVs in the cloud environment, they have to already, their workload already has to be resilient to just the data disappearing.
Okay, but normally when the workload would restart, it would restart on the same node and it would still have its data, like if it was
Yes.
just a node reboot. This would be a special
Yes.
case where the node workload would restart and its data would be vanished. And I'm just
Yes.
wondering, is there anyone for whom that would be a problem? And if the answer is no,
It's,
then great.
yeah, it's very possible some workloads can't handle that, right? And so in that case, they should not use this.
So is there any kind of like a documentation or a deprecation warning that we need to put out if we make this change? Say like, hey, we're previously we were just going to let your workload languish when the node went away. Now we're going to start it up again, and it's your problem to deal with the weird behaviors that might result from that.
Yes, the documentation for this controller explicitly says all of that in the beginning.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, thank you, Michelle. And additionally, the controller is completely optional, and as I'll get into later, it's opt-in per storage class, so you don't have to opt in all of your workloads to the controller. So I have a demo of the before behavior. So here we have a cluster with three nodes, and we have the local static provisioner running. We have a stateful set SS with one pod SS0 that's running. So we can see that SS0 is running on the node ending in FS48, and it's using the PVC SSPVC. And that PVC is bound to the local PV ending in E4. So to trigger the issue, we delete the node that the pod is running on, as we can see here. And we get the pod and we see that the pod is stuck and pending, because as I said, the scheduler is trying to run it on the deleted node. And just to verify, we can see that we have a warning here, failed scheduling, node info not found for the node ending in FS48. And if we get the PVC, we can see that the PVC is still bound to the local PV ending in E4. So that's kind of the issue here. The pod would stay in that stuck state forever. And so with the controller, if we reset here, if we have same conditions as before, we have a cluster with 3 nodes. We have the local static provisioner running, stateful set SS with pod SS0. This time the pod is running on the node ending in 9RSP. And the PVC it's using is still SSPVC, which is bound to the local PV ending in AE. So this time before deleting the node, we will create the cleanup controller, as we can see right here. And we can see that the cleanup controller is running right here. And just like before, we delete the node that the pod is running on. And then there are a couple things that we can look at to see the difference this time. First, we can look at the logs of the cleanup controller. So when the node was deleted, we started the timer, like I mentioned before, for resource deletion. The timer here was set to 1 minute. And after 1 minute passed, the node was still gone. And so we deleted the PVC that pointed to this deleted node. And then after that, the PV became released. And so the controller was able to delete the local PV that had node affinity to the deleted node as well. And as we could see from this output up here, when we watch the pod, we can see that the pod got deleted when the node was deleted and then went into this pending state as before. But unlike before, it was able to get back up and running once the PVC was deleted. And as we could see here, the PVC was deleted by the controller and a new one was brought up and bound to a new local PV ending in BD here. And as we could see here, the pod that's running again, it's now scheduled to a different node, WYTY, since it's able to get a new PVC and PV. And just the last thing to look at is that the extra local PV that was there, we initially started with 3 since we had 3 nodes. The extra local PV is now deleted because the node is deleted, which before it would have just stuck around. And so some things to note about customization is that the controller only deletes PVs and PVCs belonging to specific storage classes. This is a command line argument, so you can opt in certain workloads for this cleanup and opt out others. You can set the delay between node deletion and PVC deletion, just in case you want to be conservative about not being too quick to delete resources when a node deletion event is triggered. You can set it to like 5 minutes if you want to. And you can also set the delay for PV deletion, which is the same idea. And some code pointers, the controller was already merged and the documentation for it was merged as well. And there's an example deployment and role-based access control for that as well. So you can use it now if you would like. And if there are any questions, I'll take those. If not, thank you for everybody's time.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thanks.
thank you.
Thanks.
So in terms of documentation, you will be updating the release notes for this controller? Or
That's
just
right.
everything will
It's
be in the repo, right?
It's going to be released in the local static provision. Yeah, and so all the documentation there and the change log will be updated.
Okay, thanks. Sorry, let me actually go back to this. Let's see what's the next. I think the next one is we have another one. Baptiste, you want
Yeah.
to?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Do you have anything to share or?
Well, no, basically just the issue that's linked in the
okay. This issue, all right. Trace instrument, all right. Let's see.
So yeah, I would like to implement some basic gRPC tracing on the CSI components.
Mm.
And like obviously like hidden behind a feature flag because we don't want to have it enabled everywhere. But yeah, I would like to know what the folks here think about it and if I can proceed with some PRs.
Somehow saw this one. Did we look at this one before? I somehow remember there was a similar one that we just reviewed.
I read it a few weeks ago, so maybe you saw it before.
Oh, did you open an issue in another repo? Or maybe
yes.
Yeah,
I did open a similar issue in the CSI drivers, like for GCP and AWS.
Yeah, I thought we actually discussed this one a few weeks ago. I thought even, did you already submit some PRs for this?
Not on this.
No?
I submitted a PR on like adding pprof.
Okay. Oh, this is the one that I remember.
That's different, but yeah.
All right, so this is okay. Not exactly the same. I see. I remember this one. Okay. It seems, yes, seems make sense to me. Michelle, Yang, Saad, any comments on this?
So if I understand correctly, it is the same as we do in the sidecars, that we log all the gRPC messages, right?
Yeah, basically the sidecars are like using like an interceptor on gRPC calls.
Mm-hmm.
And currently, I think the only interceptor is like for logging. and I just wanted to have like one more interceptor for like open telemetry tracing.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah, seems good to me. I guess the only question is, I'm not familiar with this library. Is this sort of like a
It's like the official like open telemetry lib for gRPC instrumentation.
Okay.
Does
Yeah,
it filter
that
out
sounds good.
secrets? Because like we send in the gRPC messages, we send some secrets and credentials. I hope they're not going to leak into logs or traces.
Is it only on the, because I've already like did something similar in a deployment on my side on the AWS CSI driver, and there are like no secrets or whatsoever leaking through it. So like the only,
I guess
yeah.
It depends on the CSI drivers. Some CSI drivers use secrets and others don't. So it may not have shown up if in certain drivers.
So maybe let me ask differently. What does it trace? Does it trace all the fields in the gRPC messages?
I'm not sure I get your question there.
Like, what does it log in the end, in the open telemetry?
Basically, I don't have an example right now, but it's you have the, like if there is an error, you have the gRPC message with the error, and it's basic. It's like very basic instrumentation, like the time that the like how long the call took, and some metadata around like which gRPC service was called and things like that.
Okay, that should be safe, as long as it doesn't log the fields or the arguments of the call, then it should be fine.
I can like find an example of the fields we have on our side and just put it in the issue to have like so you can have a look at it.
Thanks.
One quick thing. First of all, thanks for sending the pull request for the AWS EBS CSI driver changes, Baptiste. We did see that request. We are actually evaluating right now what our position should be regarding such changes. I personally don't have any problem with the changes that you have, but I need to kind of make sure that we are consistent in terms of our policy around what monitoring framework we are using within the driver code, and also like, you know, just need to make sure that there are no concerns around adding of telemetry within the EBS CSI driver. So we'll probably have a response for you officially on your pull request at some point in the future. But I just wanted to mention that here because we were talking about it right now.
That's great. Thank you.
Will this change need to be made both on CSI libutils and on the driver side?
Once the change is made on the libutil side, I would have to go through the sidecars and like update the code to just use the new function, and this part will be hidden behind the feature flag. And on the CSI drivers code itself, it needs to be different because the CSI libutils is only responsible for like the client part of the gRPC calls, and the CSI drivers use their own implementation for the server part. So it's different basically.
Okay, so basically we need both.
Yeah.
So is there a particular motivation for these changes on your side, Baptiste? Like, are you actually trying to do some performance profiling or something like that for which you need this, or?
Yeah. So on my side, I'm like, we are pushing in my company to like have some more in-depth observability on the components we are running, to like be able to know what's going on, and if there is a failure or something, to be able to debug what's going on more efficiently. And so yeah, like I'm going to do it. If I can't upstream it, I'm going to fork it. So I'd rather upstream it, I think.
Got it. And I think basically what you're saying is the goal is to do it on both the upstream components and the CSI driver components to get a complete picture. Is that right?
Yeah, well, once, or like one component is enough, because we like, it's better to have like the client and server observability to have like a more detailed view of what's going on. But once, only one is enough to get some basic observability at least.
Got it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
We will review your PRs. This one I just copied from the chat from Takafumi. So, so Manu, if are you asking for this information, right? Or you're all set?
Yes, that's right. That's right. So we will. I have made a note. We will follow up on this, and we'll see if we can do something from our side to help this along further. I'll need to speak to some folks internally to understand if there is somebody who can help out with this effort. So I'll provide an update in the next meeting, hopefully.
Okay, thank you. Oh, and there is actually one more thing. There is a issue opened for some AWS E2E tests. I don't have it here, but I will pin you on Slack for that. So if you can help take a look.
Sounds good.
Okay.
One other thing that I wanted to update, in the last SIG storage meeting, I had promised that I would get an update on a couple of EFS CSI driver requests, which had been sitting for a long time. So I forget who it was who had asked, but I can provide an update here at this point. So there were two pull requests. One was, I don't have the link handy, but let me see if I can pull it up. One was for a PR 732, I believe. Yeah, I found the link, so I can share that. And the other one was for PR 850. So for 732, so for both of these, I followed up with the EFS CSI driver team, and they confirmed that they are both being actively worked on. It's just that there hasn't, I think just before the last meeting, just after the last meeting, actually, for 732, there was an update. So I think that is reflected in the issue. And for 850, there is some performance analysis that needs to happen. So they are in the process of trying to prioritize that work, and they will probably get to that in the near future. So both of these are things that should get worked on and addressed in the relatively near future. So
thank you very much. It was me who asked last time.
Oh, okay, great.
I saw the comments in the PRs. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, no worries. And Xing, if you can send me the specific issue that was opened, I can follow up on that.
Sure. Yeah, I will pin you. All right. I think that's all we have. Are there anything else you guys want to discuss in the meeting? If not, then that's it for today. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.